Healthcare and senior care is fraught with problems and challenges, but we're also seeing some amazing new clinical treatments and resources. This show will help illuminate and uncover the good, bad, the ugly in order to equip patients, families, and other healthcare providers. Welcome to Senior Care Confidential. Hi, and welcome to another edition of Senior Care Confidential. I'm Brian Harmon with Nexus Home Healthcare. Today, I'm joined by Denise Helms, who is a nurse and founder of Overture Home Care. And they offer a very unique, and I'm fascinated by this, a very unique training for caregivers and for family members, for healthcare professionals, in terms of giving somebody a unique experience of what dementia feels like from a sensory kind of standpoint. And so, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And for the audience, can you give us just a brief bio on you, your background as a nurse, how'd you get into home care, how'd you get into the Dementia Live program, and those things?
Certainly. Hi, I'm Denise Helms, and I've been a nurse for 30 plus years in geriatrics. That's my passion. I've always enjoyed working with the elderly. I've typically worked in skilled nursing, home health, hospice. Kind of retired from all of that and decided to open a business and landed on home care because I still got to take care of people in their home.
Yeah.
And thought that was really where people wanted to be taken care of. And so my philosophy of taking the care to the home, this is the best way that I found that I could do it. So I found it very interesting as I made the switch from working with Medicare, Medicaid agencies, facilities, the difference of care in the home compared to a facility.
Yeah.
So, and found that we had so many people that had some level of dementia, and the families had absolutely no idea of what to do, how to communicate. It was just a very frustrating disease. And if we could figure out a way to take some of the frustration out of being a family member of somebody with dementia, that I want it to be that solution.
Oh, very cool. Okay. So where did Dementia Live come in?
So we met a wonderful lady by the name of Pam Brandon, who actually lives up here in North Texas, who had developed it's called Age-Ocate, meaning her passion is educating people to care for our aging seniors. And she developed this program called Dementia Live. And the purpose of this program is to immerse somebody in a simulation of what it would feel like to have dementia.
Yeah.
One of her mottos, when you see Dementia Live on her literature, it says, hang on here, I'm going to quote it. It says, "Because it's frightening to care for someone you don't understand."
Oh, yeah.
And so she came up with this whole program and training and trains people out. And it's actually worldwide now.
And you guys don't just train caregivers and family members. You guys actually train healthcare providers. Because I'll tell you, we didn't get a lot of this stuff too. We know like the book stuff. We know, the various, the different types of dementia, what causes those things, how it might manifest itself in certain, functional abilities or cognition or sensory deficits or whatever. Like we know that stuff.
Correct.
But in terms of being able to communicate well and get things accomplished through patients or clients with caregivers, that's not something, unless we get advanced training, that's not something even healthcare providers get.
Absolutely.
And so I think you guys do it for physicians as well, do you not?
We do. We've actually have partnered with University of North Texas in Fort Worth and their medical school. We go in and train their medical school their doctors coming out of medical school on this Dementia Live, because they're going to encounter people with dementia in their practices. And like exactly what you said, the textbook doesn't talk about communication, the emotions. It's all very physical.
It's all the science and biology thing.
Yes.
It's not the human interaction part.
The emotions that go with it.
Yeah. And I think what was the statistic is something like 16, I have it here. It is 16 million Americans provide caregiver services, unpaid, by the way. So this is usually like family members. 16 million Americans provide unpaid caregiver support to patients or family members with dementia.
Yes.
which
and
is a staggering number.
it's growing
And for
and
them
growing.
not to have, the understanding that we're going to go through today, I'm so excited about the
Yes.
demonstration thing. But it's fascinating that you guys now have the ability to train caregivers, your own staff, in addition to healthcare providers
Yeah.
and family members on here's what your loved one is going through, what they're experiencing, and this is what what their sensory perception is of everything, and why it's difficult for them to be able to manage certain tasks. So it gives them a whole different level of empathy and hopefully better communication skills to help them.
Because the disease is a difficult disease.
Yeah.
And it lasts 8 to 10 years and all these different phases that a person goes through. And so there's techniques that can be learned by the caregivers with each of those stages of the disease.
What's been the reaction for, we'll go with healthcare providers because we
Okay.
think we're smarter.
Yes.
What's the reaction been of healthcare providers who've actually gone through this kind of a training?
I will say that we've had caregivers just break down in tears going,
Really?
oh my goodness, I had no idea that that's what was going through their minds in their world when they were doing XYZ, whether it's wandering and picking up things, whether they were fighting, taking a bath, whatever it is, they were able to understand that they were scared or they were confused or anxious. And I mean, it just gave a perspective to the people that care for somebody with dementia that is just enlightening.
All right, I don't want to wait any longer. So let's.
Okay.
I can't wait. So I have actually given you instructions not to tell me anything about this because I don't want to be prepped because I wanted to experience this for like the first time myself.
Okay.
And then as we go through the demonstration, you can kind of explain to the audience why you're doing certain things with me and maybe what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing. And then when we finish up, I'll kind of recap. Hey, this is what this felt like.
Exactly.
And we can kind of go from there.
Perfect.
Very good.
All right. So this experience is very hands-on. We set up a room that has dementia. It's like a bedroom and a kitchen and a living area. And then we alter the census of every participant. The first thing we do is we ask them to put on a pair of gloves.
You want me to do that now?
Go ahead and put your gloves on. And the purpose of that is to alter the sense of touch, to mimic what somebody with dementia is feeling. Understanding that the brain is being affected and the neuropses are being destroyed by this disease, things change in your body. And so they're no longer able to sense and feel with their hands in the same way you and I can.
Okay.
So we alter that. Then we have them put on a pair of glasses. You can go ahead and put your glasses on. And they're dark. They're sunglasses, and they have a tiny hole in the middle that you have a little bit of vision in. And that's mimicking the visual changes of somebody with dementia, which is different than somebody who is aging.
Yeah.
The peripheral vision just it decreases as the disease goes on, and it gets to the point where it's like scuba mask is all you can see, and it gets to the point where it becomes binocular.
Yeah.
The significance of that is it changes the way we need to communicate with somebody.
Oh yeah, you can't approach me from the side because I can't see anything.
You can't see you, and it's startling to have somebody touch you on the shoulder when you don't know they're there. Those type of things. So being aware that they have visual changes that really compromise how they're able to sense their world.
Yep.
And then the last thing that we do, and you don't have to don't put them on quite yet.
Okay.
Is we have the participants put on a pair of headphones, and what comes out of that is just noise.
Okay.
I mean, it's just noise. It's not necessarily what somebody with dementia hears, but it's their world. Yeah. It's the TV going on. It's the train going by. It's the people talking. It's that type of noise.
Okay.
And it just kind of confuses your brain. This is the part that's going to make you feel like you have dementia.
Yeah.
And then we're going to turn on that noise. And after that noise is going, you're going to hear 3 beeps.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask you to do 4 simple tasks using the tools that I laid out in front of you.
Okay.
You can't ask me to repeat what I asked you.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to tell you once.
Yeah.
And for about 2 minutes, you're going to try to accomplish as many of these things. They're simple things, so simple. Yeah. And they're right there in front of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. All right. Awesome.
Very good. So put your headphone on. Okay. And I need to turn it on for you. I'm going to step over there and turn that on.
Oh. You can't approach me from the side. Oh my gosh.
All right, Brian, I would like for you to get 2 dimes and 1 penny out of the coin purse and lay it on the left side of the table. Then I would like for you to add the numbers 2 plus 6,
Oh my gosh.
subtract
I
a
think I heard
number
2 dimes
4,
and 1 penny.
and then divide it by 1 using the calculator
Wow.
that is right there in front of you.
Well, I don't see dimes, but I got
Go
nickels.
ahead
Okay.
and write down what that number is. And then I want you to take the worksheet and circle the lamp. Look on that worksheet, find the lamp, and just put a big circle around it. It's a very easy search and find picture. And then the last thing I want you to do is take out your pen and write down your cell phone number on that sheet of paper.
That one I did here. Wow.
All right. All right, the exercise is over. You can take your headphones off.
Oh my goodness.
All
That's
right.
completely distracting.
What we're going to
So,
do, yeah.
yeah.
So you've got a piece of paper in front of you, Brian, that lists out, and nope, it's at the top there,
Okay.
that you wrote your number on.
Oh, right here. Yes.
There's a number of emotions listed out there. Look through that and kind of tell the crowd how that made you, how were you feeling in that very, very short period of time?
Yeah. So as a strong type A personality, I was very determined to not
Mm-hmm.
stink at this. And what I found, it was very frustrating because I was trying as intently as I could to listen to instructions. In fact, also watch your lips
Mm-hmm.
and try to lip read. And what I found fascinating, and if we go back to like what we've had to deal with in the last couple of years. So imagine this now with this.
With a mask over their mouth.
Forget it. You're never going to get anything done. Like I was really trying to watch your lips because
Uh-huh.
the distraction from the ears and the lack of visual acuity with this made it really hard to figure out what I think I got 2 dimes and a penny, and I may even got that wrong. Then something about writing myself, and everything else was just gibberish.
Exactly.
So for sure, I was determined. I was confused because I couldn't figure out like what step we were on at that point. I think the last one was the cell phone. Is that right? So I
Yep.
missed like number 2 and 3.
Yep.
And I'm trying to figure out, okay, are there any cues that she's given me about number 2 and 3? And so that made me frustrated because I'm like, okay, I've already blown 50%, 50% of my tasks here. But wow.
Yeah, no, and,
What an
and
incredible-
you think about that, and then so what we do in this experience is we take everybody's emotion. It's longer and it's a little bit more
Sure.
intense of an experience, and you go, these are the feelings that your loved one or the person with dementia feels every single day, and they can't turn it off.
Yeah.
They can't take the headphones off. They can't take their gloves off. That is their world, and they wake up every single day and do it again. In fact, it's
It's like it doesn't shut off.
tomorrow is the longest day with the
Yes.
Alzheimer's Association, and the whole significance of that is that somebody with dementia, their days are the longest, and that's why they pick the longest day to kind of signify how
Yeah.
long the days are with somebody with dementia.
All right. So the ones that I did not get, can you walk me through the ones that what did I get right? I think I got the cell phone one right.
Okay, you got you didn't touch the calculator, and I had you adding a couple of numbers, of subtracting and dividing by 1.
Oh my gosh.
And then I had you circling the lamp on that little worksheet.
I heard
there.
something about lamp, and I was like, "Is she telling me to screw in a bulb?" Like because I was looking at, I don't see a bulb here to screw in. Like, yeah,
Yeah, there's no lamp. Yeah, so you heard lamp.
yeah.
But yeah, and it, in the
So you're trying to
exercise,
because you don't hear everything, and because it's
and you
hard.
can't comprehend.
That's right. So you pick up bits and pieces of the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and you're sitting there trying to go, okay, what other cues can I pick up on? And I'm 45 years old. I'm pretty sharp. What other cues can I pick up on contextually or whatever that tell me what they're asking me to do?
And have you ever been around somebody with dementia that can't remember how to open a baggie, or
All the time.
they do things that are so random because
Yeah.
their brain is just so confused.
And one of the things
don't
that
make
we
sense.
know to do with therapy is, we've got, let's take your average 80-year-old with dementia. They've got 8 decades plus of certain movement patterns and movement strategies, and for the most part, we're all human, and so there are very similar movement strategies that our bodies have learned to use, and so as therapists, we utilize those. Because we have found over time that those are some of the best cues because, honestly, with the lack of visual acuity, with the constant voices that are going on in your hair, or the distractions,
Yeah.
the movement cues, we're so used to doing those for so long that a lot of times that's kind of our
Our
to
comfort.
to getting things done. Because now, oh, you're having me do this. I remember doing that from before, and it just feels more natural versus trying to follow commands. It's fascinating.
They wake up with purpose, just like we all do, but they just don't know what it is. And if it's washing that coffee cup over and over, or if it's, picking up and putting things down, or if it's, that's where and we do training and say, if that repetitive motion is soothing, then that's where a basket of washcloths to fold. Help me. Be engaged with me, and let's fold
Feels like there's some
washcloths. And
purpose
they have purpose then, because that's important. Is to work with somebody with dementia. They still want to feel a sense of purpose. They still want to feel engaged.
Yes. We had a guy that I worked with not too long ago. It's probably been a couple of years now, and he was an old professor. And he was, I'm trying to remember, he was some sort of literally like a rocket scientist. And he was working on a memoir, a book, before he had dementia. He was writing a book, I think it was for his kids, actually. Okay. And so part of the treatment program with him was we would somehow build in time where he would literally sit down with his book and his pen. Yeah. He would never write a single word on there. But for him, you were entering the world that he was living in, which was, I've got to finish this book. And so that would instantly set him at peace. Because he knew, he was determined, I was. He's determined to finish this book, and so all he had to do was get into his world a little bit and understand this is what he really wants to be able to do. There's other guys who want to, they want to play with car parts, or tools or whatever. And so I think it's really important to make sure that you're aligning, whatever treatment programs or just quality of life stuff to
and it is,
what
and it's
enjoy.
So individualized, and that's where we enjoy working with the families. When we put families through a program like this, we'll go sit around the kitchen table. And we'll simulate this with, the kids and your brothers and sisters and anybody who participates as a caregiver. Yeah. And kind of help them understand what's going through the mind of the loved one with dementia. But then we brainstorm. What did they like to do? How about reminiscent? Can we put a photo album together because they enjoyed this period of time in their life? What, were they gardening? They don't have to be gardening, but let's set up some potting areas that they can go and feel like they're doing that. Those type of things. So we put a really individualized plan together for the family.
What are some of the other tasks I know this is like a short, very short, condensed version of this. What are some of the other things that you have participants go through to experience this?
Oh, in the experience itself?
Dementia Life,
we have them tying shoes. We have them feeding the dog. We have them folding pillowcases is one of them, buttoning shirts. Because all of it, it's not so much about the tasks, but it's about the sensation. To button a shirt is so frustrating when you've got gloves on. And so we're trying to trigger that frustration level. The tie a shoe, that's frustrating. To find the change you can't see. So all of the things that we're testing are really, it's not about that. It's about trying to evoke the feeling.
The empathy. Oh, for sure. You want them to feel frustrated and
absolutely
anxious. That they can't get this stuff done, so that they impart that the empathy towards whoever they're working with.
And it's funny. We could have a whole room full of people. We typically put 4 to 6 people at a time through it, and so we take them all into the room. And there will be some that just stand in the corner and cross their eyes, and they check out. I can't take it. I can't
participate in the program
at all.
Really?
There are those that start gathering things and putting them all in the arms. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm going to gather stuff.
Yes.
And that is so like every individual person with dementia.
That's right.
They all handle it different. There are people that check out. There are people that just wander and pick at things. I mean, it's just
so. How big of a class do you guys normally do this with?
4 to 6 people.
4 to 6. Okay.
We do it with all of our, in particular, how we've used it with our agency is all our new caregivers. When they come on, that's part of our orientation process. They don't go out into the field to work with anybody until they've been trained on this, because I think it's that impactful.
Oh, for sure.
In fact, it's, turnover in our industry, healthcare certainly, is so high. And we just got a report back from Home Care Pulse on turnover in home care, and it's bumped up to 77% turnover, which is incredible. And so,
is it because of the burnout? Is that what they think?
It's the burnout, and they really want training. Overture, ours is at 30 to 33%,
like half.
And really when we poll them, they love the training, and they feel like that has made such a difference. I really truly believe that by bringing this type of training in to our agency.
That's
It's really
fantastic.
set us apart as,
What are
as
some
an
things that
employer.
you guys train your caregivers on? So it's one thing to give them, this is huge, to get the experiential kind of knowledge of what it should feel like to have dementia.
Yeah.
Once you've kind of triggered them, they're like, oh my gosh, this is very different than what I was thinking. Like, what are some strategies you guys work with them on the caregiver side, or even when you're training doctors or other healthcare professionals? What kind of other educational things do you guys provide them now that they've already seen or experienced, like, this is rough. This is a difficult time for someone to every day to deal with this. I don't know, for what, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So what are some strategies that you guys train them on?
Well, we have continued this whole program, this Dementia Live. When you're a coach, you have all these resources. And so like monthly we'll go, let's talk a little bit about communication. Wear that smile because they pick up on your mood. If you're grumpy or stressed, they become grumpy or stressed. It's so important to walk in and smile.
Yep.
Then we have one that bathing. Why is that such a struggle? And trying to help caregivers and family members understand, would you want to be naked and then have water hitting you that you're not really understanding anymore because you're used to taking baths when you were a child and now you're being stuck in this room with water pounding on you? Just all the perceptions and trying to help our caregivers know how to distract and techniques. So we have a whole library of little tips.
What are some common ones for, like, some takeaways for the audience? What are some common ones for, because like communication sometimes is a challenging one, like to get them to, I don't want to use the word, I'll use it, but just understand where I'm coming from. I don't mean the word comply. That's what I mean. But when we're trying to get somebody like
to make it less stressful for both parties,
to get dressed or to get showered in the morning, what are some communication strategies that you guys have found helpful?
Certainly eye to eye.
Okay.
Smaller tasks. They can't understand, all right, Mom, it's time to get up and let's go ahead and get you showered and let's eat breakfast because there's a doctor's appointment. That's too big. You've got to really break down your communication into small tasks.
What's interesting is I would interpret that, and I know better, but I would interpret that as a caregiver or as a family member. I'd be like, I'm actually being very communicative because I want to make sure that Mom or Dad knows, hey, this is why we're doing this, right? I'm like using an overage amount of words, right? Because I feel like that's because I want to explain to them, this is why this is important or whatever. But you're saying that's not the actual approach. Like,
part of that approach,
shorter words. Yeah.
I usually give those instructions right after another. And that's one of our talks and they would come back and go, you gave them too fast and too much. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't.
I'm fascinated to go back and watch this and hear how fast you did it and see, is this just like a normal, and I'm sure you probably slowed it down because I could tell your lips were moving a little bit slower. So it's funny because you see that I interpreted that as very fast. Like, remember the guy from the Micro Machines commercials from way back in the 80s, blah, 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 right? Yeah. That's what it seemed like to me. And I picked up like every seventh word. Yeah. And so it's interesting that you can use that to help show. And so, this is why you don't want to use a whole bunch of words because it's just garbled. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing at a time. I mean, that's a big one. Coming in with a smile. And then and never argue. That's probably a big one that families really struggle with.
Yes. Your mom really is going to Italy today.
Yeah.
We're going to offer to pack her bags because if you tell her she's not going to Italy, she's really mad because she's been planning on this vacation for 6 months. But in her mind, that's what she's doing. We're going to wait
on the bus to come. But in the meantime, how about we have a cookie while we're waiting for the bus to come?
Yes.
Or distraction, using distraction.
They played make-believe with us when we were younger. And so we kind of have to do a little bit of that now because if you don't do that, you will stress them out and then your day is kind of shot. Yeah. Or at least for the next 30 minutes or whatever until they have forgotten about it. But I mean, we've got clients that we work with now that they believe they're moving home every 30 minutes. And so you're addressing that. I'm there for an hour. I'm addressing that, a couple times while I'm there. Yep. As soon as we get done, we're just going to get your clothes on, your shoes on or whatever. We got to work on getting up and down. We got to go to the front door, because the kids are coming to get you. Like, it's one of those things. And
it's their reality.
That's right.
And that is the one thing is that we have to change because they can't. Right. They're the ones with the disease, and it's no different than any other disease. Yeah. We have to be the ones to change the way we.
I know in talking with I've got family members who have Alzheimer's, and in talking with them and talking with even other family members of like patients of ours, they always felt like it was lying. And I was like, it's not really lying because it's not. I don't even know that it's fibbing. Like you're entering into a fictional world that they're currently living in. Yeah, it's all it is. Like we're play acting.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise you're going to cause so much more stress and anxiety for you, for them, that it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And so you'll find that things are much more peaceful because they're living in a different reality than we are.
And that's
We
what
just want to we want to join them in the reality that
Yes.
they're experiencing it now.
Yep. And that lowers everybody's stress.
Yeah,
If
for sure.
the family caregiver or caregivers that are working with them can understand that, everybody's less stressed.
This has been awesome. I'm so glad we did this. This has been fun. So how do people get in touch with you for either home care through Overture or even for the Dementia Live training? How would somebody contact you for that?
There's a couple of avenues there. If you're interested in learning more about the Dementia Live, if you're somebody out there that would like to get some of your staff trained in Dementia
we're doing
Live
that,
to be a
for
coach.
Sure. Yeah.
It's AGE, the letter U,
Okay.
CATE, Educate.
Okay.
.com.
Got it. Okay.
And that's the website for the Dementia Live that talks about what the programs are and how to maybe get somebody on your team trained as a coach.
But you guys are the facilitators here.
We have the majority of our office staff is trained as coaches, which is huge. And so we feel
if I don't want to just be if I don't want to be a coach and train other people, I just want my team to be trained on this stuff. I can just call you guys.
We do a lot. We've done many memory care communities. Will go in and do a day where they send their employees through or their family members through.
Oh yeah.
We've done at the police academy. We've gone and trained policemen.
That's awesome.
Everybody in the community needs to know how to address somebody with dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about the medical directors, we've gone to church groups. We just take it passionate that we do a lot of Alzheimer's support groups. And so a new group that's there because they want to understand the disease more.
Yeah.
We will go in and do it for those type of groups.
That's great.
Yeah. So Overture,
Overture.com.
homecare.com.
And is that the best place to reach you? Is just through there and contact us or email?
Yes, and you can email me, or our number is 214-887-9401.
And you guys cover both the Dallas and the Fort Worth side.
and Fort Worth.
Okay,
so
awesome.
we have an office in both locations.
This has been great. Thank you so much for
love
joining
doing
us.
it. Absolutely.
And we'll definitely be
Thank you,
in contact with you guys for training for some of our team. I can't believe how incredible this is to experience this.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.